Big Sills, National Football Show. How you doing? Landon Dickerson to Cincinnati for a 1 and T. Higgins. Even John McMullen liked the deal. Xander's like, no, he didn't, dude. No, he didn't. No, wait a minute. That's not how I heard it. Now, then again, Big Sills has got his own kaleidoscope. Okay, please hit the like button. See, Landon Dickerson to the Cincinnati Bengals for a 1 and T. Higgins. John says you'd never get that. I was like, stop it. I'm going to say duck. It's not deuce. It's duck. Sills on the crack pipe. Big pick and happy Friday to you, Junior. All good, man. I like John, man. Fantastic. Let him speak. That's what I hear. Maybe that's why very few co-hosts can work with Big Sills. Let's get some pain. I like things jumping, you know. I like the bob and weave. How you doing? Let's go. John's awesome. He is. Don't bring John back ever again. Why? Because I changed his mind on some things? What's up, Poltergeist? I had a coach at the University of Miami, Larry Coker, that looked like the guy from Poltergeist that knocked on the door. It is duck. Okay, quack, quack, waddle, waddle. Sills, that's why you adjusted your belt. John's great, man. He really is. Tremendous reporter. We really appreciate him here on JAKIB Media, too. He wants to get rid of our boy. Wait a minute. What above all, I'm looking to make your Philadelphia Eagle team or your respected team better. That's all I'm here for. You see, I'm a truth teller. And let it be known this. I'm here to help you. I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear. That's why sometimes, things get a little bit sideways. And just when you think you love Big Sills, you're like, I hate that. Well, this is what I do. I'm kind of like a flavor of the month. Man, I really like it. You see what he's saying about Landon? And now he's talking shit on Jalen again? Not talking shit on anybody. I am America's #1 realist. Just remember that. I am America's #1 realist. I will always be. And I'm going to be real with you here. Follow me here. John McMullen thinks that Jalen Hurts will be the starting quarterback in September. I'm saying if he's the starting quarterback in September, welcome to the club of 9-8 for the next 3 years. Be sitting in that little part of the toilet that keeps circling. I don't have a big-time quarterback. Be answering that question for the next 4 years. Hey, man, when are we going to get the guy? Well, you ain't got him now, I'll tell you that. Keep circling. You flush it again. You can't get that one spot off the back of the John, though, can you? You just keep flushing it. How come I can't get rid of that spot? Keep flushing it because you got to get in there and you got to get dirty with it. That's what you got to do here. Dude, investors and people like Elon Musk don't go like this. Well, I'm going to half invest in something. Do you know how many times Elon Musk has pushed everything he's owned into the center of the table and said, I'm all in? This guy's been broke as many times as he's been rich. He's the richest man in the world because of that. These billionaire guys push it. Here, I'm going to give you the best story on the planet football-wise. Let's get it, Chalk It Up Sports Philly. How you doing? I'm going to get to you guys, man. Hey, hit that like button. Told you, man. On this show, I communicate with you guys. Or piss on it. Thank you. Whatever. So Jerry Jones, when he bought the Dallas Cowboys, you know who said that the Dallas Cowboys were overpriced when Jones bought it? Donald Trump. Donald Trump had a chance to buy the Dallas Cowboys. And when the Cowboy price with Tex and all those guys, they put it up there and they put the bum right. He put the money up there, bump right, put the team up for sale, $155 million. It was the highest number for any NFL franchise. Jerry Jones went like this. Okay, he got a loan. He put up 10% of that money and everything he had. Jerry Jones had no money almost when he pushed all of his chips in. He put everything he owned into the Cowboys. I mean, everything. Fired everybody. Everybody was working for minimum money. And Jerry now has a football team that's worth nearly $6 billion. Okay? Look at John down there, man. Trump never had the money. That's always been a debate. Always been a debate. Hey, Duck goes like this. That's why Trump's a millionaire and Jones is a billionaire. It's totally true. You're right. Hey, Jerry Jones didn't have the money from his dad. Jerry Jones built it. You know what Jerry Jones first thought he was going to be? Jerry Jones first thought he was going to be this massive oil driller out in West Texas. When this guy was drilling empty holes, he had all this equipment. So you know what he did? Jones became the biggest producer of drilling equipment in the southern part of the United States. He turned all those oil derricks that he had, and he sold them as parts. That's how he made his fortune. You know he was going to buy the Chargers at one time? He was going to buy the Chargers. His dad talked him out of it. Maybe that's not the team. Yeah, he was going to buy that thing. And he decided not to buy it. Then the Spanos family ended up buying it, which they haven't really done that great a job. But I'll say it like I say it all week long. And the combines that are going on right now. So Malik Willis is a guy now. Oh, my God, man, this guy here. Let's just go. Matt Corral. Oh, my God. Well, God, when you have guys like that, I mean, they're not that impressive. By the way, Daniel Jeremiah, who I had a text message with, he said that none of the quarterbacks were really all that impressive. He said the only guy that was really impressive was Malik Willis. This is to your Matt Corral. This is Xander's guy, too. The only thing that makes me do this, though, when it comes to potentially looking at Matt Corral, he did play in the Southeastern Conference. So that's always going to make me do this. Well, let's send a couple guys down to Ole Miss and let's just check it out. Let's just check it out. Let's see. Let's see what people are talking about with the kid. And by the way, the stuff with the hands on Kenny Pickett, does it matter that he's got the smallest hands of any quarterback that's evaluated ever at the combines? I think it matters because of fumbles. Remember something about Joe Burrow. Wasn't that a big deal when Burrow came out? And his first year, Joe Burrow lost 8 footballs in his hand. Because nowadays, get this, because you can't hit the quarterback, right? Like you used to back in the day. So what do defensive ends and edge rushers do now? They're swatting at it. And if you don't have that hand strength and you don't have the hand, you know what made Doug Flutie so crazy great? Doug Flutie had some of the biggest hands in quarterback history. That's why you never saw Doug fumble the ball. Doug had all the intangibles except for the fact that this guy had to stand on Tokyo phone books to look you in the eye. Flutie was a tremendous football player. For his size, tremendous football player. Tremendous. But what you get these guys doing now, slapping the guys, doing the chop, coming around the corner and slapping at that. If you don't have really great hand strength, Joe Burrow has small hands too, and he's prone to put the ball on the ground. We saw it a couple times in the playoffs too. So does it matter? It matters if he can't compensate for it. It means that he has to work on something else to make sure that he doesn't turn the ball over. What is the one thing that you want to make sure at all times that when you're a quarterback, what's the one thing that you want to make sure? You want to make sure that you don't turn the ball over. And that's the key to this thing here, is making sure when you find that guy, he doesn't turn the ball over. That's why Carson Wentz right now is, without a doubt, Carson Wentz is already on the hot seat there in Indianapolis because he puts the ball on the carpet too many times. All right. I have my draft list here. I was talking to Daniel Jeremiah, and I was talking to Mike Mayock. Give you some evaluations on some of the players that we have picked for the Philadelphia Eagles and what their thought process is. I know some of you hate Trent McDuffie. You know he's the 7th highest rated guy at the Combines. He's flying up the NFL draft board. I don't like the 5'11", but this is a position of need for the Eagles. Him on the other side of Slay makes it so you could play that loose zone. You've got to have great cornerback play if you're going to play Jonathan Gannon style, and you have to have an edge rusher. They've rated him 7th. 7th. Overall. Kid from Washington. Hamilton. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's ranked 2nd, which means he's not going to be available, in my opinion. Okay? I'm going to get to you the numbers here. And I got them on my phone here. Somebody sent, I believe it was Mike Mayock who sent this, and he gave me the top 10 players that are going to be in the NFL draft. Here they are. Actually, Kyle Hamilton's number 1. He's the highest rated guy at the Combine, safety. Okay? The kid from Notre Dame. Aiden Hutchinson has really performed well in his drills. He's ranked 2nd. Evan Neal. You see that picture of Evan Neal? He looks like he was 265 pounds. This guy's 6'7", 365. I saw that picture of him. I could not, very, very rarely do you see an offensive lineman with no gut on him. That guy, man, that's what an offensive tackle should look like. That guy is unbelievable. I was like, that guy's Evan Neal. I saw him with his shirt off. I could not believe how big he is. That means this: when he looks 265 in a picture, when you stand next to him, he looks like Andre the Giant to you. Whew. Dude, big picking, right? If he can't make it in the NFL, Vince McMahon's going to put his ass in the ring. Man, that's as good a looking offensive tackle prospect that I've ever seen. Maybe since Jonathan Ogden. Jonathan Ogden looked like that. Ogden turned out to be a Hall of Fame guy. Number 4 is Thibodeau. See, all these guys that I'm mentioning to you here, you're not getting them unless Howie trades up. Sauce Gardner from Cincinnati, the cornerback, is the 5th rated. Now, he's kind of in the room there a little bit with you, but I think he's a top 10 guy. Treylon Burks, who they're comparing to Deebo Samuel, is 6th. And then Trent McDuffie at 7. He's the 7th highest rated guy at the Combines. Now, remember something. All these things sound great. Hey, watch this. I can do this too. Hutchinson has the great size. There's a 5. Hutchinson's got great speed. There's a 5. He's got a great shuttle. There's a 5. He's got a great vertical. There's a 5. 1 out of 5. 5 being the best. You can come up with all these crazy-ass statistics too and go, Hutchinson's one of the better rated guys here according to our grading system. But what does that mean and how good the prospects are at edge rusher? Like John was talking. John goes like this. Now watch when I say this to you about Aiden Hutchinson. When you look at Aiden Hutchinson, do you see Chase Young? Do you see, how about this? Do you see Nick Bosa or Joey Bosa with Aiden Hutchinson? Do you see that with this guy? Any of those guys? Do you see Nick Bosa? When I saw Nick Bosa come out of Ohio State, I kind of had a chance to watch him a little bit because he went to St. Thomas Aquinas down in South Florida. So I know the family. The father was drafted by the Dolphins, I think, in the first round too. And I kind of know the family a little bit. So I know the Bosas, and I know, Chris Spielman says that Nick Bosa is one of the absolutely best. Really, you see Aiden Hutchinson, you see no way. I agree with John McMullen. There is no way that guy is as good as Bosa coming out of college. No way. The kid from Purdue, George Karlaftis, I think these guys are good players, though. I think these guys have a chance to be really good starters. But to sit there and say to me that these guys are game-changing guys, I just don't see a player. Maybe the kid Thibodeau. Maybe the kid Stingley. I just don't see a lot of these guys as game-changing type guys. Now, look. Out of every draft, there's always going to be a superstar. You always do this. Okay? You see Chris Long? 4.27 is lightning fast. Man. Wide receivers for the Eagles, though? All right. Let me address something that happened prior to coming on the show. Amari Cooper, his name, have we not been saying this about the Cowboys all week long, about the salary cap hell that they're in? They're starting the process right now. Did I not tell you? Right, Xander? I told all of you. The Cowboys are going to have to start cutting loose of players, and that football team's not going to look the same. The Cowboys right now have become, watch this, if the Cowboys are the team in the NFC East, and the second team are the Eagles because they made the playoffs. The Cowboys came down like this. They're closer to the Eagles now without the Eagles making any moves. There's a couple more of these moves that are going to put the Cowboys on the same page with the Eagles. The Eagles could stand pat. If the Philadelphia Eagles stood stand pat with the current roster they have, they're going to come out of this offseason still better than Dallas. If they made no moves and they drafted players with all of their picks, they're going to be better than Dallas. Quarterback's on a rookie deal. You got draft choices. The Cowboys are unloading players. Guys, the Cowboys are trending down. The Eagles are trending up. Now, the question would be, should the Cowboys look at Amari Cooper? And I agree with John McMullen. And the first thing that happened was I started getting text messages from some of the Eagle fans. Guy, we have to go after this, be our number one guy. Why would Amari Cooper want to play with Jalen Hurts? Because he wants to get back at Jerry? For having to cut him loose? And by the way, do you know why they cut him loose? They would owe him $20 million on the 18th of March. And Zeke Elliott's hit to the cap is too big. They owe Zeke Elliott $55 guaranteed million. They're not getting rid of him. Maybe next year, not this year. They can't afford it. It'd be on the cap. Then you got dead cap money. Cowboys are in big issues. Big issues. Why would Amari want to come and play with Jalen? And see, this comes back down to what I'm telling you also about free agency at the end of the day. It comes back down to like this. Look, what free agent wants to play in Philly? If I was an edge rusher, I'd want to. If I was a corner, I'd want to. If I was a running back, I would clearly want to. But if I was a wide receiver, Howie's got to get those guys in the draft, and that's a problem for me. If Howie Roseman uses one of those first rounders for a wide receiver, he should be fired on the spot. I get he wants to be on a rookie deal, but you don't have the signal caller to get him the damn ball, dude. Oh, lineman too, 215. Agreed. Kamara would just be tremendous on this team because why? Guy catches checkdowns when Breeze was there. He runs the ball in between the tackles. I'm a huge Alvin Kamara fan, but Alvin Kamara's production was with Breeze, and you also had a 100-catch guy on the perimeter with Michael Thomas. You had some pretty – look at what you had in New Orleans. You had Sean Payton making the play calls. You had Michael Thomas and the wideouts, and you had Alvin Kamara in the backfield. Dude, I mean, you're going to move the sticks when you have that kind of talent. What up, Marcus? What up, man? Kamara 6-game suspension? I haven't heard that. I don't know why. Chris Godwin or Amari Cooper? Hey, Dream, why would they want to come and play here? You got a quarterback that can't get him the ball. Goodwin's not playing in Philadelphia. You think Howie's going to pay $20 million? $20 million for a wide receiver. Why? If you're going to pay $20 million, I'm going to pay $20 million for an edge rusher. I'm going to get a guy who can get after the quarterback. If I'm going to spend north of $20 million, I may be putting myself in the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes. That's where I'm going. This combine, after listening to people telling me today and this morning before we went on, you know what they were telling me about the talent that's there? They rated it and they said this. It's a B+ draft. How's that mean? Now, it's a B+ draft. I always get concerned with that because how do you know these guys and what they're going to do when they get to the NFL? There's always some. Michael Parsons, nobody saw him being that guy. Nobody on the planet saw Michael Parsons being that guy. Absolutely not. Okay? They absolutely did not see that. Okay, listen. I'm going to take a time out here. Please, guys, hit the like button. Do me a favor. I want to readdress something here a little bit with the starting quarterback in September. And I'm going to tell you why I believe that, look, as much as Jalen is the guy that you all like, why it's got to be this offseason and not next offseason or the offseason after that. It's got to be now on how he's got to make that move and why he's got to make that move. We'll tell you next. Keep it here on the National Football Show.
Go for the midnight dares. Go for the memories. Go for the view that goes on forever. Go for the bubbles in your bathtub and in your drink. Go to bed whenever you want. Or don't. Go for him. Go for her. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass. Free.
What's that?
A rocks glass?
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that. Holy shit.
And you're telling me I can get one of these glasses for free?
That's right. One free rocks glass per customer with each first-time purchase of Stateside Vodka. So good, it just disappears.
Imagine for a moment that you went to work today and when you came home, you were catastrophically injured. Your life and your family's life. That's what happened to union construction worker Mike Little.
I was scared of what the end was going to be, but to be 100% honest with you, I knew I was going to be all right just by talking with Brian. In my heart, I just knew everything was going to be all right.
Call the firm and find out why they say, "We got this." Call 215-458-2222.
field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on three. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Landon Dickerson to the Cincinnati Bengals for a number 1 in T. Higgins. I'm going to sell that thing as much as I possibly can. You guys want none of it. None of it. And by the way, you want to hear, because we were doing the Combine special. Here's Xander going, what is it with you with Jameis Winston? We were doing a Combine special, Sills, and you're crack pipe, and you're pushing Jameis Winston. Well, Jameis Winston's a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. I know some of you don't want to hear it, but it's a fact. He's a better quarterback. John McMullen agreed. He's a better quarterback. Yeah, but you know what John did say? Why Jalen Hurts is the answer instead of Jameis Winston? Do you know why? Because of that contract he's on. And it affords them the ability to build the team. It gives them the opportunity to build the team. But my contention is, okay, you're right. You're probably going to have to pay $20 million for Jameis Winston, but you get to keep all your draft choices and you address your quarterback at least. You see, here, guys, let's do this. Jeremiah says, I don't mind Jameis in the quarterback room. How about this, though? Okay. Here we go. We go into another season on whether or not the quarterback, this will be 3 years now. Because let's face it, Wentz's year previous to his final season, didn't you in the back 8 games of that one season start to do this? I don't know. Then when he got into his final year, Carson Wentz, then you were saying this, man, I don't think so. So this thing has gone on at least 2.5 years where you have not addressed or answered your question at quarterback. And you're going to go into September with the same thing. How many times do you hear this? Well, if you haven't addressed your quarterback position by now, you're not going to address it in September. We're going to go through another scenario here where we're going to go into, okay, is Jalen the guy? And I said this to you yesterday. I don't believe Jalen Hurts has a gigantic upside. I just don't. Will he get better? Yeah. Will he be a better leader? Probably. Will he be able to read his progressions? Some. Probably get better, even though that's hampered him since he was at Alabama. He's been coached by great coaches, and he hasn't gotten better at that yet. He hasn't gotten better at that. Finding the receiver open. That's why no wide receivers are going to be coming and playing in Philadelphia. Again, I'm sounding like I'm bashing here. And I don't want you to think that I am. Big picking, it's the only reason that you're rolling in to the September 2022 season with Jalen is because he is on that deal. W2 goes like, hey, W2, get a gunslinger. Watch this. You get a gunslinger. Even if it's Jameis Winston, you might get Amari. Here's why. Well, that guy threw the ball 565 times. He led the NFL in passing attempts. He also had 5,100 passing yards. I don't know if we're going to win games, but what do wide receivers like? 10 catches, 14 targets, and 138 yards. Whether they win or not is not that all important to those wideouts. They want their numbers. They want their targets. Jalen Hurts is not targeting wideouts. Jameis is. He's a true fire, big league arm. And why I'm saying that to you is, look, you bring a guy like Winston in and he's your starter in September, You might get Chris Godwin. You're probably not going to get Devontae Adams because I do agree with John McMullen. I think you're going to get a franchise tag on him. You might get Mike Williams. You might get Allen Robinson. You're going to get Jameis on a decent deal. You're not going to have to pay him market value. He's not getting $42 million. He's not getting $30 million. So you're going to be paying him probably right around what Baker Mayfield's making, $25 million. I'm so good with that. And some of you go, well, Sills, he turns the ball over a lot. Okay. Are you wanting to I guess, guys, here. I guess where I'm going is, what do the Eagles really want their offense to look like? What do they want this thing to look like? Because to me, it makes me feel like they hate what they're seeing right now and how the team wins games. What do they want this team to look like? Okay? What do they want it to look like? Oh, man, we want a big, prolific style of throwing the ball down the field. We want big time. Here's the perfect owner's vision of the Philadelphia Eagles. Man, I want a big arm, great wideouts. I would say this to you. He probably wants the team to look like the Cincinnati Bengals. All those wideouts, the big league quarterback, good enough defense. Jeffrey Lurie wants your Eagle team to look like the Bengals. That's what he wants. Easy money. They're not going to draft a quarterback. The Philadelphia Eagles are not taking a quarterback. Look like the Chiefs, Bobby. That's probably right, Bobby. Okay? They want a Ram-style offense. Completely 2-1-5. I agree. I take Willis, Ryder, or Pickett, second round. Marcus. Second round pick, you might get another edge rusher or a safety. Winston, you misspelled Watson. Your 3-1s all go there. Get this, with Winston, you don't have to give up your draft choices. I can just see Xander now. Watch this. He's got some stupid-ass pus on his face right now going, this guy's so stupid. Jameis Winston is who he's pimping. I think you're missing the fundamentals of how I want to build your team. I want that style. It might not be Winston, but at least I've got a direction where free agents look at the style. Right now, if you're a free agent and you're looking at the Eagles, so do they want to run the ball or do they want to throw the ball? I'm confused. What do they want to do? Do you know what they want to do? Guys, again, I think you're looking at the name and you're not looking at the style of offense I'm talking about. You're the ones telling me that the owner doesn't want Jalen Hurts as the starting quarterback because he hates the style, but yet we like him. Wait a minute. What is it? Have some conviction in this. The fan base goes, I really love him. Give him another year. Why? That's not what you want your team to look like. You're painting a house, right? I'll paint half the house. Looks good. What? Yeah, well, you know what? I'm not sure yet. You paint half the house, you keep the other house non-painted, and you're going, well, you know, I'm still caught in the middle here. Dude, paint that bitch, aluminum sided, do something. Give me some conviction on what the house needs to look like. The Eagles got this half-built house. It's this mansion that they want to build. They got a couple floors built. Rooms aren't done. Stairwell's creaky. Hey, it's on a piece of nice property, though. Hey, by the way, the foundation's great because the O-line's outstanding. Yeah, but what about, you know, the front door, the quarterback? We'll get to that. I don't know if we want a big picture frame or we want. Jesus criminy. I'll tell you what I wouldn't want to have Howie doing. I wouldn't want him to be my architect of my house. I mean, hey, what's your style, dude? Well, I want it to look a little like this. You know what you know what I think happened to the Eagles last year? They wanted to throw the ball all over the yard. Then they realized who they were. And everybody in the building hated it. Well, we got to run it. Watch this. Shit, we got to run it. You know, what do you mean? No 38 passes a game? No, man. Can't. No, we got to run it. It's like this. Shit, we're winning. Hey, W2, right? Watch this. Shit, man, we're winning. Because they're winning that style. You're seeing teams in the playoffs. How many times did we say this coming out of the playoff weekend? Man, I want me one of them dudes, man. I know maybe I'm just walking by Neiman Marcus, places where Xander shops, all them fancy Bloomingdale's places. You and me are shopping at the dollar store. We walk by Walmart, Target, That's where we shop. Xander's over at, Bloomingdale's and Neiman Marcus and Saks. Wish I had one of them things, man. Xander walks in and buy, you and me are like, yeah, I got to stick with Jalen. yeah, I got to stick with Jalen. Let's run the ball. Then you come out of it and you run the ball 42 times, you win a game. Everybody in the front office is going publicly, hey, we won a game. Upstairs, they're doing this. Man, it's the most boring football going. That ain't going to help season tickets. The owner's going like this. Shit, man. I fell asleep in the fourth quarter. If that works in Dallas for Jerry Jones, it's funny, man. People tell me this about Jerry. You think Jerry wants to win Super Bowls? Or do you think Jerry likes to be a television show? I think the owner of the Eagles likes to be a television show too. Hey, by the way, Bill Romanowski's going to join us in hour number 2. Forgot to tell you that. Hey, Big Sills, you look good. And Tony, looking like a model, ain't I? Xander said, take the lid off because some people thought I was bald, but look at it. Hair's looking good. Look like a model. Right? Right? I mentioned him like a week ago to you. Model T, Sydney, that's not funny. I'll tell you one thing. Hey, guys, hairpiece. No. Somebody asked me if I colored my hair. No. You'll never see Sills coloring anything except a coloring book. Okay? We don't do that. Look at T. Look at Tony, man. Tony, big fan of you now. GQ? It's like those cheeks in. You guys are so bad, man. All natural. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. You taking shots at my bench press? Gorilla Glue. I'm a huge fan of Gorilla Glue. I see the conditioners popping. How you doing? Fabio's twin brother. You guys are really good, man. Thank you. Yeah, maybe I should take the top button off because I like to look like a gangster or G. Yeah, see that? Yeah. A little bit there. Nah, I like it buttoned up. I like to look like a vato. I like to look like a vato. How you doing, right? Sills Albano? No. Lou Albano was a stiff and he looked horrible. He always had like these things sticking out of his face and made me crazy sick, but I did love him. The Godfather? I'll take that nickname. Godfather of sports talk? You can bring that bitch on anytime you want. Show a bit of skin? Sure. Yeah. 22.5-inch pipes. There you go. There's some skin for you, Junior. Strongest guys in the history of college football. Yeah, that's a bit for you. Ran a 4.8. I see these guys running at the combines. 6.178. I had a 30 vertical. And I could prove all these things because, today I have to prove everything. Thank God for my daughter says it too. Thank God for the internet. I'm like, really, I could go back and get stories where I did my vertical on Pro Day and I did 30. Jonathan Allen had nothing on me. I was right around Jonathan Allen except for the fact that I crushed him in weightlifting. I ran a 4.81. I think he ran a 5 flat. He's about a half inch taller than me. I had a 30 vertical like he did. I couldn't jump over a stack of quarters right now. It's terrible. My shuttle was top 3 for defensive tackles, and I bench pressed 225 55 times. Okay? My 40, Chris, was 4.81 at 292. This was 34 years ago. And I know people are going, and you lasted how long in the NFL? That's a different conversation. Okay? That's a different conversation. Hey, Hugh, let me tell you though, with all those great stats, let me give you Jerome Brown. So Jerome, this is a true story. Our pro day. Jerome Brown's got a bucket of chicken in his hand. This is such a true story. Jerome had a bucket of KFC chicken. He walked, this was his pro day before the draft. He walked into the weight room, no weight belt, no warm-up. I'm in there working my backside off. I'm in there working. I've been in there 3 hours. This is what I hated about him. I love the guy. He puts his bucket of chicken down. I said, hey, man, looks like that protein diet's working good for you there. He starts laughing. He goes, I got Coke in the car, too, if you want. I'm like, okay, so you have Coke and a bucket. And Jerome could eat that bucket of chicken. Okay? And Jerome, he goes, what are we doing? Guy like Ken Herrick from the Raiders goes like this. Jerome, why don't you get under the squat rack, see what you can do? Goes, squat rack, right there. Doesn't put a belt on, doesn't put leg wraps on. Jerome gets under there and does 650. Boom. Put it down, grabbed his bucket and left. I looked over at Ken Herrick. I went, that's why I fucking hate that guy. Oh, man. Coca-Cola. Yes, Hilton. Okay. He went up and down with 650, picked his bucket of chicken up, no weight belt, leaves the room. I look at Ken Herrick. I go, I fucking hate that guy. I do. Everyone in the building just went, okay. He just had that man strength about him, Jerome. Yet, no belt, no nothing. Put his chicken down, picked his chicken up, left, got back in his car, and took off. Then he became the 9th pick to the Eagles. Hey, Brown was never that. No, Duck, he never did anything. Jerome hated needles. Even when he needed, like, we would be in games where, we would need, like, IVs and such. Hey, our Florida game, we went up to Florida one year, and we were playing the Gators. And honest to God, guys, it's the hottest game I've ever played in. So we go up there, and we're playing. It's the second game of the year for us. They had a 26-game win streak. It was 114 degrees on the turf, and the sun wasn't out. It was so hot by the third quarter, the skin on the bottom of my feet were peeling. It was so hot. You know how you get cold because it's so hot? It was so hot. I'm on the sidelines there. We get on the airplane. Every single guy that was on the field must have lost 25 pounds because we were all dehydrated. We got under all these IVs. It looked like a MASH airplane. Jerome lost 32 pounds in that game. Honestly, I took my shoes off. I'm looking at it, and the bottom of my feet were peeling. It was so freaking hot. And we beat them. I think we beat them like 25-17 or something like that. They were so good. And Jerome's like this. He goes, hey, man, I lost 32 pounds. I go, you're kidding. I lost 23 that day. Man, we walk off that plane, man. I could not believe. And Jerome's like this. Yeah, they had to stick me with the IV 3 times. I hate needles. I looked over at him. I go, and he's looking at me going, I'm like, do they have it in yet? I go, yeah, they got it in. He's sitting there and he's going like this. He's just like, oh, my God, he hated needles. Dude, it didn't matter the water. Hey, maniac, Jerome lost 32 pounds in that game. He was shaking on the way home. Thank God it was only like a 45-minute flight from Gainesville down to Miami. Wow. Sileo, you are wrong, Sills. Penn State fans knew what they had. Whatever. Penn State. Yeah, you guys knew what you had. Jerry Sandusky. Talk to me. Easy money. Landon Dickerson didn't participate in the combine. That really? Landon Dickerson didn't go to the combine? Oh, hey. Dude, I don't want, hey, back then, man, no way. You weren't, hey, the Jimmy Johnson 3-hour practices, you know that thing that you see on TV with Jimmy and how nice he is? Shit. Guys, man, we'd have 3-hour practices, and this is how we got our water. So what they would do is Butch Davis and Dave Wannstedt would run us across the field. We had to go to the furthest part, and all the water tables were over here. So we got water breaks, and whistle would go off. I think there were like 2 or 3 hours. You had to run from that end of the field. Here's me and Jerome, Cortez Kennedy, Russell Maryland, Kevin Fagan, Stubbs. We're sprinting. We're just sprinting, man, to get to the table. You grab 5 of those waters. The whistle blows. You're running back. You're drinking this shit, man, on the run. You're throwing it. They were hard on, man. They ran our asses off. Dude, yeah, you don't do that stuff today. You just don't. You don't do that stuff today, man. Absolutely not. Hey, more news on Carson Wentz. Also, a little bit more on some of the grades that came out with some of the players that I talked about on my NFL draft. I want to go over a little bit of that. Don't forget, Bill Romanowski's going to join us. Please hit the like button. Keep it right here on the National Football Show.
Go for the midnight dares. Go for the memories. Go for the view that goes on forever. Go for the bubbles in your bathtub and in your drink. Go to bed whenever you want. Or don't. Go for him. Go for her. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass. Free.
What's that?
A rocks glass?
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that. Holy shit.
And you're telling me I can get one of these glasses for free?
That's right. 1 free rocks glass per customer with each first-time purchase of Stateside Vodka. So good, it just disappears.
Imagine for a moment that you went to work today, and when you came home, you were catastrophically injured. Your life and your family's life. That's what happened to union construction worker Mike Little.
I was scared of what the end was going to be, but to be 100% honest with you, I knew I was going to be all right just by talking with Brian. In my heart, I just knew everything was going to be all right.
Call the firm and find out why they say, "We got this." Call 215-458-2222.
field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Welcome back. National Football Show. It's your boy Big Sills on this Friday. NFL Combines Friday. Guys in shorts. Wow. Impressive. Did you see that guy's 225? Holy shit. Did you see that guy run that shuttle drill? Here, let me tell you a real interesting thing about the NFL Combines. You do things in the Combines you'll never do in your career again at any training camp. You don't run shuttles in training camp. Hell, you don't even run a 40-yard dash in training camp anymore. Teams don't time you in the 40-yard dash. They time you when you're doing your off-season workouts. They don't time you in camp like they used to back in the day. You don't do vertical jump. And anything you do, now again, a lot of this stuff is during your off-season workouts. You do plyometrics, you do power jumps onto a crate or whatever. There's no drill you do that benefits you being a football player at the Combines. I mean, you're throwing the wide receivers in a situation that's set up for you to succeed. Why do you think most of the quarterbacks, they like throwing on their pro day? Get to throw to their guys, friendly environment, home court advantage. Guys don't like to throw at the Combines because they like to have home court advantage. So what are you truly seeing here? What are you looking at when you're seeing these guys at the Combines? All right. Easy money. Matt Corral. Owned. Malik Willis, do your research. You do a vertical jump when you're on special teams, trying to block a field goal. I'm saying you do nothing in your practice for a vertical jump at all. You don't do vertical jump testing when you get to the NFL. You don't even do 40-yard dash. I don't ever remember running a 40 once I got to the league or got to a professional sports. I think I did once because they didn't believe I ran a 4.8, and so I did it again. Actually, it was a 4.8 flat. They were like, holy cow. And I was like, yeah, that's it. I'm not doing it again. As a matter of fact, after I'm pro day, I ran that 4.81. I said, nah, because then the next time I ran a 4.92, and I said, I think I'm going to can it on that one. Okay. Hey, by the way, you know what I love about the NFL now? Guys, so the National Football League dropped their COVID protocols. I guess the NFL cured COVID. Federal government couldn't. But the NFL cured COVID. What happened to COVID in the NFL? We ain't missing any more games, dog. I'm not putting guys on that COVID list that I'm paying $15 million to. You think I'm sitting Aaron Rodgers' ass? That guy makes $35 million. That ain't happening. He ain't missing games because he's got the sniffles. Yeah, that ain't happening. So the NFL and their expert doctors, yeah, COVID's been eradicated in the NFL. What happened? What? So wait a minute now. Why did some of those players, why did they get COVID shots? Now you've dropped it. And guys like Cole Beasley were like, whatever. Carson Wentz. Aaron Rodgers. I guess you can't get pissed at Aaron Rodgers anymore for something. And now that the majority of the media now, they can't act like doctors on the air any longer. They're probably really pissed at that. You know? I'm trying to figure out what I should do with how I should use my mask. I don't know what I should do with it now. I think I could put money in it, or maybe like put my. See here, my Hummer keys. Of course, I got a Canes thing on it. Thank you very much. This would be good right here, I think. To look, can hold my keys. Just saying, I mean, what happened to the NFL? The NBA is still going through this. Major League Baseball is still going through this. The NFL said we're done. It's pretty crazy. NFL goes, we're not testing anymore. Okay. Was COVID still out there? Yeah, I think. Right? Maniac says 12 vaccinations, 19 boosters, 3 masks, and you're worried about other people. I don't know any of that nuts. I'm not going to go there. I'm just saying the NFL, because they're not going to lose money, they're not going to put lesser product out there like the NBA stupidly does. Hey, by the way, if you're the Brooklyn Nets, I think you're probably just going to hold out a couple more weeks here because Kyrie Irving will be able to play home games because they're going to drop the vaccinations indoors, or you have to wear a mask inside. And he's going to win this. He sat out long enough where he outran this thing. And get this, they paid him even when he didn't play at home. That's why people hate the NBA. I think it gave the NBA guys excuses not to play hard and to take nights off. What the hell? And then when he came up with the COVID stuff, the players all used it that way. Stupid, man. NYC says they're going mask only. Is that right, Duck? Well, then Kyrie can play. Kyrie won. He won, man. You paid him. He said he wasn't going to get vaccinated. And now you're dropping your protocols where you have to be vaccinated and be inside in New York. He's going to play in the playoffs. That's crazy great for him if that's what he was going for. I'm not saying what's right or wrong here. I'm just saying he won. Aaron Rodgers won. Carson Wentz won. Cole Beasley. Did you see today what the news is? Buffalo Bills were asked today at the Combines if Cole Beasley has contacted the front office and asked for a trade. You know what the Bills said? Yes, he did. And we're granting him that permission. Cole Beasley is like a Cooper Kupp. And not because he's white, but because he plays like Cooper. Cole Beasley, if you put Cole Beasley in Cincinnati, he's a 1,500-yard guy too. Cole Beasley's a good wide receiver. Okay? He is. Remember, Stephon Diggs is going to get the main targets in Buffalo. You don't think they made that move to get him from Minnesota to bring him over to make him be the second guy in the building to Cole Beasley. Okay? How'd you like to have Cole Beasley on the Eagles? Chris, how do you know that, Chris? Cooper Kupp, before Matthew Stafford showed up, had 945 yards and 68 catches and 3 touchdowns. He was a dude. I'm going to take a look at Cooper Kupp's stats, okay, since he's been in the league. This guy's like Roger Maris. You know, Roger Maris never hit over 30 home runs, but twice in his career. One year he hit 61, and I think he had 39, and maybe 3 times in his career. It was a fluke year, is my point. He never hit 50 home runs ever again. All right, hey, our friend Bill Romanowski will join us. We'll talk to him about the 49ers and a bunch of other things going on. Also, edge rushers, the direction that the Eagles need to go in. He will be in hour number 2. Please hit the like button. Keep it right here on the National Football Show. Please keep it on the National Football Show.
Go for the midnight dares. Go for the memories. Go for the view that goes on forever. Go for the bubbles in your bathtub and in your drink. Go to bed whenever you want. Or don't. Go for him. Go for her. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass. Free.
What's that?
A rocks glass?
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that.
Holy shit.
And you're telling me I can get one of these glasses for free?
That's right. One free rocks glass per customer with each first-time purchase of Stateside Vodka. So good, it just disappears.
Imagine for a moment that you went to work today and when you came home, you were catastrophically injured. Your life and your family's life. That's what happened to union construction worker Mike Little.
I was scared of what the end was going to be, but to be 100% honest with you, I knew I was going to be all right just by talking with Brian. In my heart, I just knew everything was going to be all right.
Call the firm and find out why they say, "We got this." Call 215-458-2222.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on three. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Welcome back. National Football Show. It's your boy, Big Seals. Please hit the like button. Thank you guys again for being with us as we go back to back. Some people appreciate it. Some people don't. Okay? Some people appreciate Big Seals, back-to-back shows. I know you guys do. You guys show up here, and I can't thank you enough. Some people, they don't appreciate it. It's all good. Don't worry. Because you know why I'm the ultimate scoreboard guy. It's all good, man. It's all good. Bill Romanowski at the bottom of the hour. Hey, I'm going to show you and make a point to you on your boy Cooper Kupp. I was telling you until they got a big-time arm there in Los Angeles, he was a dude. 869 yards, 566, 1161. Wow. Was that better than the third dude in Cincinnati this year? I don't know. 974, and then the magical year of 1947. Whew, wow. Here's his catches. 62, 40, 94. These are average NFL wide receiver numbers for number 2 guys. 92, then 145. Wow. Cooper Kupp was a dude. Before Stafford shows up in Los Angeles, he's no better than T. Higgins. This is facts. This is who he is. Sills, come on. He's the best receiver in the game. Really? Not without the best signal caller. Or wait a minute. Matthew Stafford's not even the best signal caller in the league. I know we want to make him into that now. This guy had Megatron in Detroit, so don't give him a pass. Well, he's got Cooper Kupp now. You're telling me you think Cooper Kupp's better than Megatron? Come on, man. Let's have a reality check here. Calvin Johnson's a first ballot Hall of Famer. That guy ain't. As a matter of fact, that guy hasn't put up Hall of Fame stats yet. He's got a Hall of Fame year going. Great. Great. A lot of guys have great years in the NFL. That don't make him a Hall of Fame player. Chris, wait a minute. I love making people look dumb. Show me this where you think this guy here prior to Matthew Stafford showing up was an all-pro wideout. It's not who it is. I hate when people do that. They look at the person today and they go, well, this guy here, man, he's developed into the best receiver in the league. No, he hasn't. He got a better quarterback. That's what I'm trying to tell you in Philly. You want Devontae Smith to live up to the expectations that people had of him coming out of Alabama? You got to get him a better quarterback. And this is where people are going like this to me too. Hey, Sills, they need to get a wide receiver maybe in rounds 2 or 3. Really? Rounds 2 or 3? Why? You don't have the guy to get him the ball. I will get him on a rookie deal. It's a wasted pick. How many people will look at it this way? Guys, how many people think that Devontae Smith was a wasted pick this year? I'll get Cole Beasley to put up Devontae's numbers. Shit, the guy in Cincinnati, the third wheel guy. What's the third guy's name in Cincinnati? Who's the third guy that got 1,000 yards in Cincinnati? He had a better year than Devontae. Boyd. Thanks, Xander. Boyd had 1,000 yards. Okay? You tell me, man. You tell me. You tell me if Devontae, again, had a good year or not. Boyd at 8. Well, who was the number 3 wide receiver? Who was the number 3 wide receiver that because they had 3 wideouts there that had 1,000 yards? Cole Beasley, you put Cole Beasley in a more of a standard offense, okay, with a guy who's not a running quarterback. I say this to you. If you put Cole Beasley, okay, in the Rams organization with him and with Sean McVay, I say he's got 1,500 yards too. I'm not saying he is a top flight guy. I think Beasley's a number 2. But this guy had a great year. And by the way, I would say this to you. Kupp is better. He's better than Cole Beasley. He is. Okay? But my point is that Cole Beasley, again, with a good signal caller, how do you know he doesn't put up the same kind of production numbers that we see with Cooper Kupp? Okay? How do you not see that? Oh, I thought Cincinnati had 3,000 yards receivers. My mistake. Okay? I thought he had 3. I did. Hey, don't forget, Bill Romanowski at the bottom of the hour here. So some of the players that have been evaluated or are being evaluated right now down in the combines in Indianapolis. We'll take a look at the quarterbacks first here. Quarterbacks were on display yesterday. People's thoughts of Kenny Pickett, they liked him. They thought he was a guy who should get a chance, probably a first-round draft choice. The question on the hands, to me, I don't really think that that's that big a deal depending on what city he gets drafted in. And depending on where he goes, I could see Kenny Pickett having a pretty decent career. Kirk Cousins, somebody like that, maybe a little bit better than what we saw with Mitchell Trubisky. But when I look at Kenny Pickett, Mitchell Trubisky had more promise coming out of North Carolina going into the draft. He was taken, I think, number 2 overall than what Kenny Pickett is. How do you look at Kenny Pickett and go like this? Well, he's better than Mitchell Trubisky. But he wasn't better than Mitchell Trubisky coming out of college. He surely wasn't better than Jameis Winston coming out of college. Where do you see that? Where do people see that? And when they saw him throwing, they thought he was okay. Nobody was overly impressed with anybody there, including your boy Matt Corral. So, I mean, the only guy that they've been impressed with, and you know why they were impressed with Malik Willis? Because there's not a ton of tape on him. There's just not a boatload of tape on the guy. That's where they were kind of impressed with him. Probably the most impressive guy is your guy, Matt Corral. Okay? Played in a tough system. There's no question about it. He's a guy that has the ability to play in the NFL. And the question is going to be, where does he go? Now, I told you I targeted him for New Orleans. I got him potentially going to the New Orleans Saints. Well, you don't have Sean Payton there developing him as a quarterback any longer. You don't. Podcast says Goddard has decent hands. Big Pickens says not a quarterback this year. No zip on Pickett's passes. He floats him sometimes, doesn't he? Willis tape on YouTube is a 3 or 4 pick game. I did the same thing I did for him for Trey Lance. I couldn't find it. By the way, I think to Chris's point, stop it. Jalen took us to the playoffs with his legs and 2.5 weapons. To Chris's point here, okay, Jalen didn't really have any wideouts to throw the ball to that were good enough to move the chains. Wasn't like he had big-time wideouts. I know some of you are going, well, we drafted Devontae Smith. Well, those two really didn't have the same chemistry. Hell, even Waddle and Tua looked like they had a better chemistry down in Miami at times. And Xander threw a stat up to me when we were doing the show with John McMullen. You know, as much as you shit on Tua, he's 13-8 as a starting quarterback. Okay? He is 13-8. So, I mean, the quarterbacks that were evaluated yesterday, nobody came away. Daniel Jeremiah said it. They came away and they were doing this. Well, I don't really. This is not a really strong year. I guess some of the quarterbacks are getting a little bit aggravated with the conversation that people are saying. But they never really were impressed with any of the guys. Okay, Dave has a point here. Guys, please stop. No one has any idea about these quarterbacks. Give these guys a chance. Some of you guys are too spoiled with Burrows of the world. Okay? Okay? We're working on our boy Bill Romanowski. Hopefully we're going to be able to get him on. If not, it's all good, guys. Chemistry is everything. Rico says the NFL extending the playoffs is why we made it. It's true. But I still think that they were one of the – yeah, but Rico, I still think that the Eagles were one of the better running football teams and one of the better football teams in the second half of the season. They played better defense. You know, I think only San Francisco had a better record than them in the second half of the year. Okay? Chris says chemistry is everything. Chris, I think it's where you land is everything. Paul, correct. I think the 23 draft is going to be exceptional because it's going to be kind of after the COVID guys get out of there. I think you're going to see a really good draft in 2023. I don't know what that means quarterback-wise, but I do think you're going to see it. All right, guys, please hit the like button. I want to talk a little bit more about some of the free agents that are going to be out there for the Eagles to kind of target and such. Let's do that. Hit the like button. Keep it here on the National Football Show.
Go for the midnight dares. Go for the memories. Go for the view that goes on forever. Go for the bubbles in your bathtub. and in your drink. Go to bed whenever you want. Or don't. Go for him. Go for her. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass. Free.
What's that?
A rocks glass?
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that.
Holy shit.
And you're telling me I can get one of these glasses for free?
That's right. One free rocks glass per customer with each first-time purchase of Stateside Vodka. So good, it just disappears.
Imagine for a moment that you went to work today and when you came home, you were catastrophically injured. Your life and your family's life. That's what happened to union construction worker Mike Little.
I was scared of what the end was going to be, but to be 100% honest with you, I knew I was going to be all right just by talking with Brian. In my heart, I just knew everything was going to be all right.
Call the firm and find out why they say, "We got this." Call 215-458-2222.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on three. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Welcome back. National Football Show. It's your boy, Big Sil. Hopefully everybody is having a great Friday. Thank you so much for coming aboard. We did the special with John McMullen, and we appreciate everybody coming aboard. We're trying to work on our friend Bill Romanowski. Hopefully we can get him on. He's driving right now, so we'll see if we're going to be able to connect with our friend and get his thoughts on some of the things going on in San Francisco, Denver, the Raiders. The Raiders are making a lot of noise because, get this now, so Derek Carr and the Raiders are not on the same page. Isn't it funny? Isn't it funny how people do this? Okay? Isn't it funny how people go like this? You know, I mean, you're all in the position now with these football teams now that these quarterbacks are starting to really push all their chips in and say, you need to put good people around me. Is there a problem with that on how people look at it and how people see these quarterbacks today? I don't think. Look, you don't have to do this any longer. You don't have to go like this and say this now. Well, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to have my career die. You don't have to do that. You don't have to sit in a place where you go like this. Well, you know, I'm going to come here and I'm going to play no matter what, come hell or high water. Sports is now mobile. These athletes today are mobile. LeBron James, I think LeBron James is the guy that really started the trend where he's not going to be, you know, he's not going to be tied down like an anchor to an organization that's not going to put good people around him. Is that a problem for people today? That they want to go and they want to have a better situation? Just like you, no matter what the job is. Don't you want to do this? I want to be put in a position where I can always win. That's why you go to Alabama. That's why you go to LSU. That's why you go to Ohio State. You go to Clemson. You go to those people because you know why? They got great coaching, and you're in a position to be successful. That's one of the most important things that you could possibly have when you're a football player, when you're an athlete. Hell, when you're just a normal business guy. You want to be in a position where you can succeed, correct? You want to make sure that you're in line to succeed. So when you're Derek Carr now and you're bitching with the Raiders now, and you're not, I don't know, I'm not behind the scenes. I've asked some questions about Derek Carr and why, this conversation is not going well with Josh McDaniel. They're talking extension, or at least they're trying to. And Derek Carr has said this. It's not about the money here, because Derek Carr can go on the open market and do this, guys. He could command a number. He could command. Derek Carr would be a hot commodity if all of a sudden it became known that the Raiders had him on the trading block, right? Washington would jump on that thing as quick as you can put a contract in front of him. They would there's not a team out there that wouldn't. Denver, I doubt they would trade in the division and in the conference, but still. But these quarterbacks today are now doing this. I want an opportunity to go out there, and I want to make sure that we're headed in the right direction. Chris says Carr is clearly better than Hurts. Man, Derek Carr is one of the most underrated players in the National Football League. Who the hell is Xander? I love that. Jalen doesn't throw open wide receivers. He waits. Yeah, of course he waits, because he's not accurate. Okay? He's not accurate. He can't get the ball down the field. Jeff, I was there for a summer. That's where I did some of my summer school. Yeah, when I was in between schools, and I was thinking about going there, and they wanted me to play there, and I thought about playing there, but I never played it down there. But they wanted me to, and I lived in Cincinnati for a little bit. I did. I almost went to school there, and I almost played football there. I did. And then I would go back in my junior year, and I would go there. One of my footballs on the wall there, man. I had like 17 tackles against that school, and I had like 2 sacks in the game. I killed that team too. How come you didn't play here? Well, this is why. I'm at Miami. I enjoyed it, though. That school's a cool place. Cincinnati's a really fun city. I enjoyed living in Cincinnati. Okay, I did. I love that these quarterbacks in the NFL now are getting say. The Kyler Murray thing bugs me a little bit. Okay? The Kyler Murray thing bugs me. But, I don't think he's built enough equity up yet where you could start pushing people around. And by the way, the story with that line is this. So Steve Keim and the Bidwells have told Kyler Murray's agent, this is what's coming out of the combines. The really cool thing about the combines? You get a chance to talk to owners and general managers at the combines, and they're kind of telling you a little bit of the lay of the law, how the law lays there in Arizona. Do you know what they told the agent to Kyler Murray? Don't push us on any extension. We're not there yet. We really love the kid, but don't tell us to get a deal done before the summertime. They said that they would start addressing it during training camp, and Kyler wants it addressed now before March 18th. Steve Keim in Arizona went like this. We're not doing that. Can you imagine that? The Arizona Cardinals are telling Kyler Murray, we're not getting this deal done before March 18th, Kai. That's not happening. We told you that we would address this going into training camp. Murray's people don't want to go in to the final year of his contract not having an extension. Well, the agent thinks they have leverage. Kyler Murray thinks he could push his way out. Well, the Cardinals still have the leverage here with this. But he's telling them, hey, I want a new contract. If we learned anything from Carson Wentz, and we learned anything from what we saw with Jared Goff, I'm not giving anybody any contract extension until you play out your current deal. I am not doing any of that. That includes Joe Burrow, too. Joe Burrow's got to prove to me that he could stay healthy. Okay? He's got to prove to me he could stay healthy. I mean, He has no leverage, right, Duck? I don't think he has any leverage whatsoever. He has no leverage. So Kyler Murray is barking. You know what's funny, too? This is the same thing with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is going around telling, or not, I don't think he is. I think the media people are making this more than what it truly is. Okay? I mean, the media make it sound like he can go to Denver. Yeah, let's go to Denver. Send him to Denver. He can play there. I mean, you know, and by the way, the record is, and on the record right now, Green Bay saying nobody is called because I don't think anybody knows or believes that Aaron Rodgers is going to leave Green Bay. Why would he? He's not going to leave Green Bay. That team's been to the playoffs 3 straight years. 2 of the last 3 years, they've been to the conference championship. They've won 39 games in the last 3 years. Why in the F would he end up leaving and going and playing somewhere else where the grass isn't always greener on the other side? And they're going to put $100 million on the table for him for 2 years. Right? Desmond Ridder, Bearcats. You know, I'll tell you what I did like about Desmond Ridder, Chris. Desmond Ridder in that Notre Dame game showed me a lot of moxie. I liked how he played against Notre Dame. They were by far the better football team. And Kyle Hamilton was on the field for that. Okay? And I actually liked the kid. But when he was struggling against Navy and he was struggling against, like, Tulsa down the line and down towards the end, maybe that was pressure that they were living under because they were going to be a semifinal team and nobody truly believed that Cincinnati would get in that window, and they did. So maybe they played with a little bit of pressure because they were going to be the first non-Power 5 team to make it to the semifinals. So maybe that kind of caught the team, the coaching staff. Okay, hey, Luke Fickell, I love him. And I love the fact that he didn't want to take that Notre Dame job, and he thinks that Cincinnati job is spectacular. And I like him. Okay? I really do. I really do. All right, guys, really appreciate it. Please hit the like button here. I want to go to my friend Bill Romanowski. Bill right now is driving, so we are going to go audio only. Bill, I appreciate you coming aboard. Thank you, my friend.
You got it, Dan. How you doing?
All good. Bill, let's get right into it, my friend. San Francisco, are they moving off of Jimmy Garoppolo?
Absolutely. And I'm not convinced it's the right move. I thought, you know, under the circumstances, he played pretty damn well until, you know, the last series of the season when he needed to make the plays to get them down the field. He wasn't able to make them. But, you know, to get the team to that position, he was a big part of that.
Bill, I'll say this to you here on him, and I agree with you 100%, Bill. I mean, this is why I think the 49ers are in a tough spot with him. The guy's 36-16, Bill, as a starting quarterback. He's 5-2 in the postseason. And Bill, I know you have great respect for Joe Montana and also with Steve Young on what they did on the field. When guys like that are saying that they don't believe he's ready, how does John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan look at that and look at it and say, all right, is it the only reason they're moving off of Garoppolo is because of the amount of money and the amount of draft choices that they've invested in Trey Lance? Is that the only reason? Because if that is, Bill, that's not a good football decision.
Yeah, that is definitely the reason. And the question I would ask is, what happens if Trey Lance doesn't pan out? Because there's a part of me that says he may not be ready for maybe another year. And, you know, at times I felt like he was, you know, a deer in headlights. And Garoppolo gave me a lot more confidence for them, you know, as the steady hand. Is he going to make the exciting runs and things like that Trey Lance does? No. but he's going to be consistent, and he's going to give you a chance to win every ball game.
Bill, let's go over to the Raiders now. Are you happy with the Josh McDaniel hire? And do you think they end up getting a contract extension with David Carr? It looks a little contentious right now. I think David wants to make sure that, that they're looking at, or Derek Carr, they want to make sure that they're looking at a scenario here where, the camp is all on the same page and the organization is headed in the right direction, especially after the disastrous year a year ago. I would probably think Derek Carr wants to make sure that the organization is headed in the right direction. Am I reading it right?
I think you're reading it right, but, I asked this question is when the game was on the line and you needed to go down and put it in the end zone, was he the guy to get that done? And the answer was no, he wasn't. He wasn't able to make the plays. I think under the circumstances for them to get there to the position they were in to make the playoffs, that was incredible. But again, I think there is, 10 to 15 quarterbacks that are a lot like Derek Carr. And there's only a handful of the elites that can, when the game's on the line and you need to pull it out, they can do it.
So, Bill, you're not sold that Derek Carr might be the answer there with the Raiders in Vegas then, right?
You know what? I love Derek Carr, and I've seen a lot of great football from him, but I am not convinced that we can win a Super Bowl with him.
Wow. All right, let's go to Denver. Bill, obviously, they're going to be under the salary cap. They need a signal caller badly there. In your opinion, do they push all their chips in on Deshaun Watson and go get him? And would you be a fan of the Broncos bringing in Deshaun Watson in Denver?
You know what? I would be, but I there was a part of me that thought the reason why you would bring in the coach that they brought in was, are they going to have a chance at Rodgers? But, we'll see on that. But, hey, if they could get Deshaun Watson, hey, it's a tough one with what he's been through. But I believe that, nobody's perfect. And he's paid a major price. And hopefully he's learned from this. And he will never have this happen again in his life.
Bill, I want to take you into some questions about defense. Couple last questions here for you. We really appreciate you doing this here with us here. Bill, from the time where you played in the NFL, where you won 5 Super Bowls, to where we are today defensively, it just seems to me, Bill, that the 2 premium positions in the league now defensively are edge rushers and lockdown corners. And it almost looks like the rest of the positions are almost like, I don't know, dudes nowadays because of the way the NFL is set up and the way the NFL is structured for high-powered offenses, big offensive numbers, receivers that can't be touched anymore. Am I reading the room right, Bill, that the premium positions nowadays, if you can get a Micah Parsons, or if you can get somebody that can get a quarterback on the ground, or you could get a Jalen Ramsey, those are the positions. It just seems to me, Bill, that it's almost impossible nowadays just to play defense, because look at the Rams, for instance. I don't think there's any coincidence, Bill, that they have Jalen Ramsey and they also have Aaron Donald, 2 of the best players at their respected positions, and the rest of those guys just seem like interchangeable parts. Am I reading that right?
Absolutely, you're reading that right. And you're right with what they've done. And on top of the rule changes that have happened over, let's just call it the last 20 years, it's turned into more of a more of a passing attack. Everybody's throwing the football. How many teams out there have a fullback? Ask yourself that question. One? I know of one, maybe two, Tennessee and San Francisco. Other than that, the fullback position does not exist anymore. So it is a throwing league more than it's ever been, and you got to have cover corners, and you got to be able to rush the passer. And if you can do those two things, you're not. The next thing I would say, if you're a linebacker that can cover a tight end, you're very valuable. But if you can't cover a tight end or running backs out of the backfield, you're a dinosaur.
Bill, let me ask you a question now on Super Bowls. You own 4 Super Bowl rings, and the Rams just end up winning themselves one. Aaron Donald gets himself a ring, and Von Miller gets himself another one. Bill, how does winning a Super Bowl change your life? Was there anything different in how you prepared? Was there anything in how you were perceived? Is it other people looking at you differently? You not changing your game? I guess maybe where I'm going is that this is maybe why you get a lot of teams not repeating themselves, because winning these Super Bowls, it seems to change a lot of people and a lot of teams' chemistry. What does winning a Super Bowl do to a team? Because it can't be always good, because you know why? That same team comes back the next year. Sometimes we see teams not even make the postseason. What does winning a Super Bowl mean to an organization, good and bad, say, to a player?
You know what, Dan? I've been sitting here trying to piece together what your question. I'm really sorry, but it did not come through.
Okay, well, here, let me repeat. Bill, winning a Super Bowl, after you won your Super Bowl, it's not always the best thing for a team, because it seemingly changes certain guys, changes chemistry on a team. What does winning a Super Bowl, and how did it change you in any way? Does it change a team's chemistry? The Rams just go through that now. They deliver a Super Bowl. What does winning a Super Bowl do to an organization and to players on a team? Okay, I think we ended up losing him there. So, okay, all good. That last question there too, because, hey, guys, think about it, for instance. It's one of the most important things and one of the most difficult things to do is to repeat as champions. This is why you look at the Rams, salary cap hell. How many times do we not see teams come back the next year, and some of them don't even make the postseason, right? So when we see the Rams team, Odell Beckham's not back until November. You got salary cap issues on that team. I believe they're 4th in salary cap issues, if I'm not mistaken here. So quite frankly, again, winning those Super Bowls sometimes don't always pan out to give you an opportunity to come back and win again. All right, guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. We'll talk a little bit more about the combine. Some of the guys that have really, really stuck out, other position-wise. Again, I gave you the top 7 guys that really graded out. Some sleepers that were at the combines. Hit the like button. Keep it right here on the National Football Show.
Go for the midnight dares. Go for the memories. Go for the view that goes on forever. Go for the bubbles in your bathtub and in your drink. Go to bed whenever you want. Or don't. Go for him. Go for her. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass. Free.
What's that?
A rocks glass?
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that.
Holy shit.
And you're telling me I can get one of these glasses for free?
That's right. One free rocks glass per customer with each first-time purchase of stateside vodka. So good, it just disappears.
Imagine for a moment that you went to work today and when you came home, you were catastrophically injured. Your life and your family's life. That's what happened to union construction worker Mike Little.
I was scared of what the end was going to be, but to be 100% honest with you, I knew I was going to be all right just by talking with Brian. In my heart, I just knew everything was going to be all right.
Call the firm and find out why they say, "We got this." Call 215-458-2222.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Doug says 3.5 hours later, we're getting to Combine talk finally. Holy cow, man. Yeah. Unbelievable. Oh, shut it. You know what Xander said to me, too? Xander goes like this. Sileo starts the show with John McMullen, and he's talking Jameis Winston. Hey, Doug, kiss my ass. You too, Eastside Monster. You guys laughing. Oh, okay, Birdman. Oh, okay. Finally, Dan. I've only been here for 3.5 hours. And now you're going to tell me about Combine talk here? Oh, I'm getting these grades in here from the guys at the Combines. Okay. Oh. Sleeper wide receiver, Alec Pierce, 6'3", runs a 4.3. Great. Oh, man. Great. Okay. Fine. Finally, after 3.5 hours. I do think Evan Neal ends up going number one. He had a tremendous and is having a tremendous weekend. I think he's one of the top 3 players at Indianapolis this weekend. I really do. You know, I'm not sold on Aiden Hutchinson. I'm sorry. He may turn out to be J.J. Watt. I've been wrong before. Okay? I've been wrong before. But I just don't see it with Aiden Hutchinson. I think he's going to be a productive football player. But to sit there and tell me that guy right there is Chase Young, there is no way. And by the way, he's had a good weekend. Had a great interview. People love him. Did well on all of his drills. Came out of the grade exceptionally high. A lot of people are in love with the guy. Just not my cup of tea there on what I saw in the game. You see, what he does in Indianapolis, I'm not as impressed. You can see when you guys tell me a guy runs a 4.3, how's he in traffic? Does he here? I'll give you an example of this. I'll give you an example. Jerry Rice at his pro day ran a 4.7. A 4.7. I was almost as fast as Jerry Rice. But when Jerry Rice was on the field, do you ever remember Jerry Rice getting caught from behind? Do you ever remember Jerry Rice? Anybody staying with Jerry Rice? And this was back in the day when you could mug wide receivers. Okay? Do you remember Rice ever ran a 4.7? Guys with no shoulder pads on runs a 4.3. So what? What does he do with his gear on? How is he in traffic? How does he run his routes? Does he have alligator arms? If you hit him and beat on him, is he a player or does he fold his hands? Okay? Hey, Ray, Chris, can he catch? I'll tell you something. I'll tell you, this is a great lesson. Did Jalen Reagor have a really good combine? I bet he did. I bet when Howie Roseman showed up at the NFL combines for Jalen Reagor's workout, which sold him over Jefferson probably didn't have the best workout at the combines. Maybe he didn't work out, but he saw Reagor work out. And he was more impressed with Jalen Reagor's workout than with Jefferson's. That's how that dynamic works. Well, this guy was willing to work, and this guy was willing to run the routes, and he was willing to do all the things. Sometimes that combine clouds your judgment. Right? Kupp ran a 4.6, 4.8. Dude. Cooper Kupp running a 4.6, 4.8. Guy goes for 1,945 yards this last year. Since when does the 40-yard dash matter to even wide receivers, let alone quarterbacks? They don't matter. Okay, so 40-yard dashes, shuttle drills, vertical jumps. Derek Stingley, who I love, has also had a great weekend. But guess what? What he's done? He's going to work out more at his pro day at Baton Rouge. And he's not going to go through as many drills. I've been trying to keep an eye on that when it comes to the NFL Network. And I've been going back and forth. I've been watching some tape in between. And he's not working out fully there. Gary, combines, it's not that the combines are overrated. It's that the combines, they skew your judgment on a kid because he's a good workout guy. Hey, that's important that a kid wants to put the hard work in. Okay? It really is. Reagor ran a 4.47. Jefferson ran a 4.43. So Howie must have been impressed with Jalen Reagor at the combines. Something sold him, okay, over Jefferson. His game tape in college. I mean, Jefferson at LSU, really? He was on a national championship team, right? What did you not see that kid was not doing to help Joe Burrow? Or what were you not seeing? Right? Okay, time limit is up for Combine Talk. What's for dinner? Relax. I told you this before, Maniac. In my house, it goes like this. Hey, honey, what's for dinner? Whatever I'm cooking. Give me a break. Enough Combine Talk? Okay, Maniac, I'm not going there. Okay. Combines rarely change a team's draft selections. Early first, second round picks. It does help mid-round guys. It does. There's no excuse for Reagor over Jefferson. Absolutely. Eagles said Jefferson was a slot. Eagles wanted outside with Reagor. Really? The Eagles said that Jefferson was a slot receiver? Holy cow, that scares me if that's true. That really scares me if that's true. Okay? Yeah, Jefferson, you got to put him more in the slot. That guy's a bona fide big-time wideout. Look at his numbers that he's put up in his first couple of years in the league. Okay? I like this kid Stingley a lot. I think Thibodeau is going to be the best edge rusher coming out of college this year. I take the word of Mario Cristobal. Mario had him up at Oregon. And I'll tell you something, too. I got a chance to meet Justin Herbert. And I got a chance to know Justin Herbert a little bit. And I've posted pictures of me and Justin Herbert on my Twitter page at Dan Sileo Show a couple times. And I text him. I said, what about this kid Thibodeau? Herbert goes like this. He was the best guy in the Pac-12 the last 3 years. And that includes Penei Sewell, the offensive tackle that went to the Lions. He's like, Dan, this guy here is a game-changing dude. We didn't have a guy in our program, and I never saw him in the years I was at Oregon blocked. He was somebody that just was unblockable, and he's like a man amongst boys, especially in that Pac-12. And he goes, if you like Micah Parsons, that's what this kid kind of reminds him of. I think this kid Thibodeau can play. I watched him. I've been watching some game film on him, and I've been watching some highlights. He's got a tremendous highlight reel. And you go back and you watch him against some of the better offensive linemen in the Pac-12 and outside the Pac-12. Man, I think he is a great football player. Hey, you want to hear this? Kayvon Thibodeau is going to be my preseason pick for Defensive Rookie of the Year. I think this kid is that good, okay? The George Karlaftis kid, Karlaftis, the Purdue edge rusher, he's also had a pretty good weekend. 6'4", he jumped on the scale, guys, at 265. 6'4", 265 edge rusher. He's a pretty good football player. A 265 kind of, I don't know. He probably got down a little weight because he wanted to run a better 40. Sometimes you get down and weight, you know, you condition your body and you condition yourself to give yourself an opportunity to run a good 40 because they want to see a good 40, especially if you're an edge rusher. They'd like to see you around 4.5, 4.6, somewhere in there as an edge rusher. Okay? You get a 4.4 edge rusher, that's somebody that you're looking at that people are going to go, yeah, man, that's exactly what we're looking at. They want to see you around 6'5", 6'4", 265. Philip says, Sills, would you rather have DK Metcalf or Amari Cooper? I'd rather have Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper runs better. He runs better routes. He's a better wide receiver. DK Metcalf is spectacular in a straight line. He's not a great route runner. He instead of running 15-yard ins, he'll do a 13-yard in. That's what aggravated Russell Wilson about him. He's not very good route runner. He's a physical, imposing player. To me, he's more of a possession wideout. Plus, he's got phenomenal speed. I get it. But because of his size, he's not a very good route runner. Hugh, okay. You asked me the better wide receiver. I didn't say the better talent when it came to being a physical, imposing player. He runs poor routes. He runs poor routes. That's why he's not lived up to the billing since he's been in Seattle. Wilson can't find him at times because he's not where he's supposed to be. That's one of the biggest things that Tom Brady loves about wideouts. That's why guys like Reggie Wayne or guys like Chad Johnson who went up to New England back in the day, they thought they were going to go up there and play with Brady. The reason Amendola and guys like that were able to go out and do things, and they were able to go and they were able to make yard because they were phenomenal route runners. They were where they were supposed to be. That's why Brady trusts certain wideouts compared to other people. That's why he loves Gronk. Okay? Paul says the defensive rookie of the year will be a safety. I'd like to know the last time a safety was ever the defensive rookie of the year. I'd like to know that. Has it ever happened? Okay. I mean, has it ever? It may have happened. I don't remember a rookie ever winning the Defensive Player of the Year award from the safety position. Even Ronnie Lott didn't win it. Well, you had Lawrence Taylor in the building too, so it's probably why. So I like that kid. The Kyle Hamilton kid has been the highest rated guy at the combines. He's impressed everybody. Notre Dame guy. Let me ask you this about Notre Dame guys. They get killed in big games. Who's the best Notre Dame football player right now? Zach Martin? Who is the best Notre Dame football player? Can you guys tell me off the top of your head? Let's see. Best Notre Dame player. Who's the best Notre Dame football player right now in the NFL? Claypool? Name me a guy. Notre Dame. Harrison Smith. Okay. Look at the names. Like I said, Zach Martin, Harrison Smith. Jalen Smith got released, I think, twice this last year. Name me a Notre Dame guy. Name me a Notre Dame guy who's good in the game now. No running backs. Wide receiver. Tight end. O-line, I named you. D-line. Pass rusher. Linebacker. Corner. Safety. Guys, but Kyle Hamilton's going to come into the NFL, and he's going to be a star. It's food for thought. Okay? Notre Dame doesn't produce superstar football players. If you can't beat LSU and Alabama and you get thrown off the field when you're on the field with those guys, I am always suspect of drafting guys from Notre Dame. There are very few dudes that come out of that program. It's like the Indiana Hoosiers under Bobby Knight. Can you name me a superstar Bobby Knight ever put in the NBA outside of Isaiah Thomas? Name me a guy. Kent Benson, kind of. Mike Woodson, Scott May. Name me a guy. Name me a guy that Indiana produced under Bobby Knight outside of Isaiah Thomas. You go like this. I can't think of any. They produce great college players is my point. Okay, Notre Dame doesn't produce NFL guys any longer. All those great players. Why do you think Brian Kelly left and went to the Southeastern Conference and went to the LSU? Because Notre Dame gets the great so-called college players. They don't. Notre Dame doesn't get. That's why I look at Kyle Hamilton and I'm like, so Kyle Hamilton must be breaking the mold down there in Indianapolis. Okay? Must be breaking the mold. Harrison Smith, Claypool, and Zach Martin come to mind. Okay. Sounds great. Combines should be interesting over the weekend as well. Free agency around the corner, man. Guarantee you there'll be a lot more news next week surrounding the Eagles and what they're going to do in their direction at the quarterback spot. Guys, thank you so much. We went back-to-back. I can't tell you how I appreciate it. Please hit the like button. Till Monday, 4 to 6 Eastern time.